All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Link to the Past Randomizer for week number 6. This is the spoiler log piloted Key Sanity. I'm Adirondack Greg, being joined with Yoinker's wife on tracking duty as we present to you the second match between Grouchy Old Men and Team We're Bad at Team Names. Representing Grouchy Old Men, we have Lumaga, who was piloting Vertz's run last night. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few moments. And Clifford is the runner for Team We're Bad. It's going to be Xylo doing the piloting for Grouchy Old Men tonight with 7 points on their resume. And we have Sinak doing the piloting for Team We're Bad. Another member of Team We're Bad? Well, that's me. I'll try to keep my composure for this match in regards to being not quite as biased as possible, but I can't guarantee anything. Our runners are almost set and ready to go. Our runners all just about all set and ready to go as well. We are going to have some fun. Now, I'm not going to take a look at this spoiler log, especially doing this on a solo basis, as we welcome to you that are joining in from Speed Gaming 6 to the very beginning of this spoiler log co-pilot Key Sanity. One part of this log that is going to be generated, I will take a look at, and that is to mark off what we have coming up for our crystals as our runners get ready to begin. For our crystals, it's going to be Desert, Dark, Palace, Skull Woods, Thieves Town, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock. Skull Woods and Turtle Rock being our 5 and 6. And for our pendants tonight, Eastern, Tower of Hera, and Swamp Palace. And we are underway. We begin with a small key to Desert Palace, and Clifford starting off with the boots in Link's house, and he's going to go and take them up over to the uncle while his pilot comes up with a game plan of how they're going to route things out. They're going to take a look and see all the things that are going to be coming up in this seed. Lumaga is going to go and do the Houlihan strats, and that is a strategy that we saw from the other runner yesterday with Vertz 505. So he's going to go to this cave and he's going to jump into the water 4 times. As Clifford goes and runs to the uncle, gets the big key of Skull Woods, which I wonder if that means there's something in there. As Lumaga dipping in here, and he's going to go ahead and pick up his, I think it's 235 rupees. As Clifford will pick up the Desert Palace small key. Now, one thing that Clifford's going to be able to do that Lumaga has to wait until he's back in Link's house to do is go and do Bonk Rocks, which I'm surprised Lumaga did not grab the boots out of his house. I will assume that he's going to get them on one of his next save and quits, but this would have made this walk just a little bit faster if he was going to be able to do this. If he was going to be able to do this on his trip up here, just a little bit of optimizing of your movements here. Clifford is inside of Blind's Hut. Blind's Hut has some money, a piece of heart, because we don't know how safe it's going to be this early seed. And we do have the red meringue, which could be interesting if we want to try to get stunning enemies in a little bit. Lumaga grabbing a little bit of magic, but also finding a compass was inside of that other chest. Now, Sinak's going to be with the log for We're Bad, and so therefore he knows whether or not there's going to be something behind that bomb wall. Clifford, obviously not worried about any bombs at this point. Getting the flippers, getting the Ice Palace big key, and getting the Moon Pearl. As Lumaga makes his way over towards the village and is walking his way there while Clifford is still running. Clifford looks like he's going to go buy some bombs at this point. 50 rupees exactly, which was probably why he was concerned about getting both 20 rupee chests, as Lumaga, with the rupees in hand, does not have to worry about doing that. Clifford now going into the chicken coop. Be interesting to see what we have inside. As we do see the current setup here. It is a pendant of courage for Eastern, pendant of wisdom for the Tower of Hera, and pendant of power for Swamp Palace. So vanilla green pendant by the sounds of things, if I'm reading the courage correctly. Clifford getting a bottle out of the chicken coop and is going to take it to the sick kid. Sick kid has for us half magic. I'm already jealous of this match. I'm already jealous of this match by the fact that they already have a bottle and half magic when they made me have to go up Aga's tower with 3 hearts last night. There apparently is something inside of the Wells bombed chest because of the fact that Clifford is doubling up into here. And so therefore, we will find out what is inside real fast. Inside. A heart container, so a safety here for Clifford, not necessarily something that is 100% required, but of course, as you all may have seen with the match between these two last night, you're definitely going to take a better scenario than what myself and Verts had to deal with in that race. So there must be not anything inside of the back of Blind's hut, and it looks like Lumaga, with bombs in hand, is going to make a single trip out of this. But without the boots, this has allowed Clifford to at least get some time. That's the fire rod in the library. And so nothing at the race game. Clifford is going to do a save and quit, and he will be next heading over to probably the South Shore checks at this stage. No weapon in hand, but the 8 bombs. 7 of them for the mini modems if he needs to go inside there, which is likely. Lumaga is going to get his half magic off the sick kid. Actually, no, he does have the fire rod and half magic, so he does have a weapon for the mini moldorms, and it looks like he is choosing not to go to the dam at all, so nothing of significance inside of there. His pilot telling him what is inside, what is not, as Lumaga is going to do a save and quit. Without the boots, he's going to have to double back to get that fire rod. Nice magic drop off this mini moldorms. And now Lumaga will pick up his boots. But I don't know, is Lumaga going to go pick up that fire rod before going down here? As Clifford picking up 300 rupees off the NPC, getting a small key to Skull, which is not of anything of significance, but getting the Turtle Rock small key. So Lumaga heading here. He's gonna have to be careful just a little bit when he goes into here, more out of the sense that you really don't have the best ability to try to protect yourself right now. Steps away from the bomb before he got hit by that. Gets the first of the mini moldorms. We know they're not going to drop any bombs because they were dropping magic jars. Okay, good. Lumaga was able to get that one in the middle. Maybe get a double here. Perfect. Good. Does finish this off. 2 bombs remain. And Clifford getting something inside of the waterfall chest. And that does turn out to be a glove upgrade. So we're just a hammer or Titansmith away from getting our Dark World access. And Clifford starting at the Sanctuary, but Sinak telling him, nope, you've got to stop. Don't go in that direction. Where you need to go is somewhere else. Lumaga's going to have to be careful with the heart. He should be fine, but as long as he can get up there, I believe the Zola fireballs here are only, the Zora fireballs are only a half of a heart damage here. As it looks like Clifford is prioritizing a trip over to Sahasrara. It looks like also a piece of heart, and it would have to assume that the waterfall fairy's bottle is nothing of significance, probably a bee in a bottle. There's a bug catching net. We get a map, which was not what Clifford really wanted, and a heart container. So nothing big there as far as progression is concerned. But with that bug catching net, with that heart container, he is going to be able to take that stuff on over here to Eastern Palace. It looks like Lumaga is choosing not to head into that direction at all. Choosing to head right straight for Eastern Palace. Probably will consider himself to head there real soon. So our first check coming up here in Eastern in just a few moments. Introduce the teams in just a moment as well. As Clifford makes his way over to this first chest, and holy K, that is a hook shot. That is something that these runners definitely want to have. And Lumaga picking that up as well. But Clifford is not done in here. He is heading on over towards the map chest, over on the right-hand side of this Eastern Palace, and Lumaga is trailing after him. And a heart container, so a safety that both of these runners are picking up. And that is going to do it for Clifford. He is done. And Lumaga is continuing on. So we'll have to see what else is inside of here. As Clifford makes his way over. And now he's heading on over to Bonk Rock, so there's something inside. It is a big key to Misery Mire, which we definitely need to do. Lumaga getting... Oh! Clifford must be told how he's going to be able to route this in. We'll get the bow at some point in time. Both of these runners are going to be heading into a sequence break. That flute is how you're supposed to get up the mountain by the sounds of things. Clifford dashing his way through. He knows where to dash inside of this first room. Obviously, you can't dash in the second room because you'll have the old man trailing you. So as these two are inside of the dark, I can tell you the Lost Woods Division team, we're bad at team names after last night's victory, stands with an 8-3 record for 24 points. With Grouchy Old Men currently in 7th place in the division with a 2-8-1 record with 7 points. But that match last night could have gone the other direction real easily. And that number, with that item with a 20 count underneath it, was a huge reason why things happened. Turtle Rock Small Key for Lumaga, Palace of Darkness Key for Clifford. So Clifford heading over to here to Spectacle Rock. There must be something inside. Lumaga taking his flute is going to go ahead and activate it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and activates gets the fire pod. So maybe that's another reason why Clifford did not get the flute here, because the hammer. So that's our Dark World access, plus that's also access to the Tower of Hera. Now we can't finish Tower of Hera just yet. We can just get inside of the lobby right now, but we don't know if we need to do that. As Lumaga activates the flute. The Lost Woods Division currently being led by Team Kappa. They have one runner that is currently in play, sitting with a 10-1 record. Don't know the status of that match, and nor will we spoil how that match is going at this point. But if they end up winning and Team We're Bad loses this match, they will have clinched the division. So a win here from Team We're Bad will keep pressure on Team Kappa heading into next week. The co-op week with those two teams facing off, Team Kappa, Team We're Bad, in week number 7 to determine the division. Should Clifford win this match tonight? Paradox cave, the basement, or the top, whatever you want to say. It's the blue mail for Clifford, so a nice safety right there. This 12-minute mark, already more hearts, more safeties than what was in the race last night. The mirror. Okay. Clifford trying to line up for a bomb jump and unfortunately found his way down to the bottom. Lumaga taking the flute up to 1. Battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in this division. Still very, very heated with Team We're Bad right now with a game and a half cushion over WJPTBB, but they're in action tonight. Well, we're buddies currently with a 6-5 record, 2 games behind Team We're Bad, but still in very good contention for that playoff spot. Team we'll pull Ped for food, currently with 5-5 on their record. They can make things interesting as well. Tower of Hera, a pendant dungeon. Clifford poking his head inside, goes on downstairs to the small key location, and it turns out to be a big key. And this big key is to Dark Palace. Clifford making his way over to the right-hand side. Spiral Cave, does that have something? And it does look like, yes, it does have something. Lumaga is about to get his hammer. So around and around the swirly Clifford goes. What's inside Spiral Cave? We will soon find out. And inside, it is the Quake Medallion, which we probably need a little bit later on. But with the hammer, gloves, and Moon Pearl, it's Dark World access time. And Clifford mulling over his options, waiting for Sinek to tell him where to go. Lumaga takes a death, but thankfully after he got the hammer, so not much of a penalty. He'll just go back to the old man cave and start all over again. Clifford being told, you want to go to Hype Cave. That's exactly where he's going right now. So that death from Lumaga is not a terrible death to take. It's not a time cost. There's a little bit of time cost right there, but very, very minimal. As Clifford goes into the Hype Cave. Gets the 10 arrows. Probably a bomb blast save. There's the small key to swap. There's our Titan's Mitt. Magic powder? Gosh, game, why are you doing this? Where was this stuff in last night's race? Okay, yes, I do sound bitter. Clifford done with the Hype Cave, heading on over to check out what would either be Skull Woods or the Village of Outcasts at this point. The Titan's Mitt will get him through the portal a little bit faster, plus gives him some routing options to do. One thing that Clifford does not have that Lumaga has is the flute. That was inside of the compass chest inside Eastern Palace. Clifford bonking against the rail of the stairs. Looks like it is an early trip into Thieves Town, a dungeon he cannot complete because we do not have the big key yet. has decided to skip chest number 1. Looks like he's skipping chest number 2. That is one of the brilliant things about this mode. Knowing where to go, what chest you can skip. The amount of chests that you do not check when you don't have to check them all. It looks like only one chest has something we need here, and that is our first bow. Lumaga in the shadows of Clifford, gonna go check Hype Cave now. We get another Palace of Darkness small key. That is number 2. That's really, if there's nothing in the Palace of Darkness, that's all Clifford needs to get at this point. Clifford doing a mirror before saving and quitting, which was not necessary because he has not killed Aga, and Lumaga does not have any bombs, has to go buy some. Thankfully, there's a shop where he can buy some not too far behind him over here. Picks up the what's supposed to be 30 for 100, but only going to be getting 10 for his 100 rupees this time around. 10 rupees a bomb. But it does get him here into Hype Cave, where he's going to get his Titan's Mitt as well as the other items that we see inside. Clifford's next destination looks to be into the Palace of Darkness. Again, we'll find out whether or not this was a go mode dungeon or if he has to do a little bit of exploring. Small key to Swamp Palace and the safeties here for Lumaga, getting himself a health increase. And at this stage, oh, Clifford taking a death. Ooh. On his way to the Palace of Darkness, that's an unfortunate death for him to take. That is a little more time consuming than the death that we saw from Lumaga earlier. But he's going to maybe try again. No, he's getting some confirmation from Sinek what he needs to do. Now, the way I'm thinking that Clifford is going to be routing this is that he's wanting to do the Palace of Darkness. Once he completes that, then he'll go back into Eastern to get the flute out of there, because we do need to have the flute. Misery Mire being a crystal, Desert Palace being a crystal, without knowing where the book is, we may have to do that. Lumaga looks like he is going to be heading over here. Digging game, no. Now, Clifford's going to want to be careful with his health. He found out the hard way that things do hurt you at this stage, and you don't really want to be taking a hurt at this point. Lumaga looks like he's going to be freeing the breadsmith over to find out what he has over at the swordsmiths, I guess is how I want to say it. All right, Kiki's back in operation here. Gonna use that fire rod to take care of these enemies. A little too far to the south, but thankfully it wasn't on a big hop, and that's Arcana Samaria. That is also a required dungeon. Clifford prioritizing shooter room, which tells us that there's something down here that is beneficial. Don't know if it's progression, but it is definitely something he wants to get his hands on. Pulls out the mirror. That is a small key to this dungeon. That's a pod key number 3 for him. As Lumaga pulls... So that's going to be 4 pod keys for Lumaga once he's done with that. Clifford, maybe by just vanilla habits, opening up the chest that is to the Tower of Hera. Looks like Clifford trying to set up a hammer jump. But he's going to have to hurry up if he's going to try to get this. I don't know if he's got enough time here before the bomb explodes. No, he doesn't. Floor's going to collapse. Going to leave the room and try again. Clifford trying to get himself set up. Gets it second try. Gets a small key. Ganon's Tower. As Lumaga picking up what was 300 rupees in that second chest, and Clifford going through here without the lamp, trying to make his way down to the bottom of this. Gonna have to be careful without... This is not easy to do, especially when you don't have a sword, and Clifford is trying to use the dashing to figure out where in the room he is. Trying to get down to the bottom left, or the bottom right chest over here. I think he's got it now. Gets a big key to Desert Palace, and that looked like the only reason why he went back there. But he is going to leave, and... Okay, now's the play when he's going to head over here to get the flute. There's our first sword in Meyer's shed. And of course the map to Desert Palace. Clifford taking care of the Staffos, but unfortunately fired that to the north, unfortunately, so he gets all four that he has to take care of, but is about to pull out this flute. Now, we saw from Lumaga earlier, there is a Turtle Rock key, and Lumaga is now going to be heading on over towards the Palace of Darkness himself, because he wants to go and get that Desert Palace big key. Clifford has to go activate his flute. So for Clifford, Desert's going to be beatable. And Misery Mire's going to be beatable. Depending on what we need to get inside Misery Mire. And I will tell you in just a second what we need to get into Misery Mire. For Misery Mire, we are going to need Bombos because we're not going to see that. And for Turtle Rock, we're going to need that Quake that these two runners had picked up earlier. So we can't get into Misery Mire just yet. We need one more piece to the puzzle to get inside. Well, Clifford needs another piece besides that. That's the Cane of Samaria. That is on the Breadsmith. And I think that's what his next plan of attack is right now, as Lumaga gets ready to head on over. And I was assuming that his next play was going to be over towards the Hookshot Cave, and it very well may be. Maybe he's going to go inside of Tower of Hera to get that key that was down in the basement of Hera. Clifford freeing the Breadsmith. It's so weird when you are in a spoiler race here, spoiler mode race, and you see these runners are on different routes, and it just makes you wonder, when are these routes going to be coming together? When will we see the merge? And who's going to be ahead when we get to the merge? Clifford's already going to have to go into the Palace of Darkness twice. He's gone into Eastern twice, and he is going to go grab this purple chest. Now, I'm wondering, based on how he's moving around, I think he was just trying to clarify with Sinak whether or not the magic bat was going to be worth anything, but this purple chest was not something that Lumaga did. And it's another heart container. So a safety here that didn't take too much time for Clifford to go ahead and grab. He will head on now to the desert and mire area. And again, he can beat both of those dungeons. Now I'm curious to where this lamp's going to be. Lumaga going and opening up the portal to Turtle Rock is once again, we know that it was Quake. And again, sorry, Clifford does not have everything he needs to get into Misery Mire at this point. He does not have the bombos. I'm just wondering if we're going to be seeing that real soon. As he too will grab the map to Desert Palace. And it looks like Lumaga is heading for the floating island. And Clifford is heading for a mirror bonk. Just a little too far north and he got himself into the rock. No real problems. Oh, he's heading straight for the Lambos. And Lumaga is going to go and do the trip into Hookshot Cave to pick up a heart container. Probably equal amount of time from what he figured was for what Clifford did to grab that heart container off the purple chest. Heading into Super Bunny Cave. As Clifford making his way over towards the final section here. A piece of heart and a heart container. So a little bit of love is over here inside Super Bunny Cave at this point. Clifford going for his first crystal, the seed. Not going to have a whole lot of problems with the Lamos coming up with half magic and with the fire rod in his disposal. Looks like Lumaga is floating away. He is not going to go into the Turtle Rock at this point. One, two, three, almost got... Oh, got him just before he went down. That was good for Clifford. Getting a blue rupee, but more importantly, the first crystal of this match will go to Clifford and team We're Bad at 29 minutes and 53 seconds as Lumaga making his way into Ice Palace, another crystal dungeon. Clifford fluting, thinking, waiting for instructions from Sinek, heading back into the portal. Could this be a Skullwood's, could this be a Skullwood's completion play? It very well could be. Lumaga trying to get the door situated here. We'll get to see how well Lumaga knows Icebreaker coming up in just a moment, but first he needs to get through these Pendigators. And with all the hits that he took to the Pendigators, he's probably really, really glad that he's got more hearts than what Verts had going through this dungeon last night. And if you didn't see Verts' fights against Cold Stare, you should watch that in last night's match against myself. That was a lot of butt clenching. There's our bombos in the big chest of Skullwoods. But that was a lot of butt clenching, and kudos for Divert for going through that Master Sword, Green Tunic, 4-heart Cold Stare. Lumaga trying to pause buffer. Gets it good. And that's where the lamp is. That's rude, Seed. That is really rude. Lumaga heading on downstairs inside of this Ice Palace as Clifford makes his way towards Mothula. Gonna have to be a little mindful with his health with 4 hearts remaining, but does have a red potion in a bottle as Lumaga picks up another Dark Palace key at 4 now. Clifford making his way now to the back. Does not need to fire a fire rod shot at that Gibdo. Must not be anything in that first section of Skull Woods. Otherwise, you probably would have just grabbed that key for safe reasons. It looks like there's something else inside of this ice palace. Clifford trying to be patient. Missed the fire rod shots. A couple of them did not go according to plan. 3 hearts remaining, blue tunics, so everything's doing 1 heart damage to Clifford here. A few more fire rod shots, perhaps. Gets him over the side. A couple of nullified hits there as well. Goes to the hammer. Trying to get a little faster with the damage here. Going to his red potion. Does not want to take a death at this point. As Lumaga is going up to Cold Stare. And Clifford has finished off with his fight against Mothula. Mothula drops the ice rod. And with that, Clifford will pick up his second crystal. Lumaga trying to get his first crystal, trying to deal with the puffs of Cold Stare. So these 2 runners still are on separate routes at this point. Still waiting to see where they're going to merge together. As Lumaga using the hammer perfectly against Cold Stare. Down to the corner. He was waiting to see if Cold Stare was going to move. Cold Stare was in his holding pattern. So he missed an opportunity to get a hit there, but finally takes care of business. And Lumaga will get his first crystal out of Ice Palace. And it looks like that might be the destination for Clifford next. And I was thinking maybe he was going to go grab a potion, a red potion, before going in here. But he seems like he's going to be content going in here with 7 hearts, blue mail, half magic, fire rod bombos. He'll be perfectly fine. Or at least we hope so. Looks like Lumaga now. Forgot to peg the portal to head over towards the Palace of Darkness. That has been the big difference right now, is that Clifford, going through the dark room in the dark maze, picked up that Desert Palace big key, which allowed him to do that a whole lot sooner, but it still is a very close race. Clifford picking up, maybe out of habit right at this point, getting 20 rupees, or maybe he's planning on maybe buying some potions later on. The second match between these 2 teams, the first match was an epic match that was decided by less than 1 minute. Last night over on Speed Gaming, it looks like Clifford is not doing Icebreaker, so he, with 1 bomb remaining, is going to have to be perfect on his Ice Palace bomb jump. And hopefully he realizes that he's got the 1 bomb. He does not have the key. And he'll find out right now that he needs to get that key. Lumaga heading over towards the mimics. We saw Clifford bomb that wall earlier, which suggests that there's going to be something over here. So Clifford has 1 chance to get this. He's got to pull this off right now. Does he have it aligned? He does. Lumaga bombing open the wall, and inside it's the big key. 2 turtle rocks. So it is something that Clifford has to go pick up when he comes back in. But it looks like, based on the way that this seed has gone, unless there's something downstairs in that U room with the rupees in it, Clifford is going to head right straight to the mimics when he comes back in. Oh, there's the new trick there where you go up the stairs real fast by way of the cane of Samaria for Lumaga. Another neat trick that was legalized by the Racing Council a few weeks ago. Lumaga with 4 keys doesn't have to really worry about how he's spending his keys inside of this dungeon. Clifford's going to be picking up his lamp real soon. So there's red mail downstairs and a bottle with blue goo in it. And those are good safeties to have. That red mail may be a difference here for Grouchy Old Men coming up, depending on how things go with Lumaga. Although he had a very solid fight not too long ago against Cold Stare. Clifford skipping that chest. And we'll go and pick up his lamp right now. Lumaga now going over here to the bottom. Just may have misheard his pilot. Xylo is the pilot for the Grouchy Old Men. He heard it was in the maze room, but didn't realize it was in the bottom part of the maze room. Clifford, 1 key to his arsenal right now. Next stop looks like will be to Cold Stare. There was nothing else inside of here. So, item-wise. Let me see here. We need to find where the Ganon's Tower Big Key is. Looks like we still need to find out where the Thieves Town Big Key is. And, that pretty much is it. I would have to assume that when Clifford comes to finish off, unless he's got another plan for Thieves Town, or rather for Turtle Rock in order to get that other key. But Clifford's about ready to go up against Cold Stare. Lumaga making his way down to the basement to face off against the Helmasar King. Pulls out the bombos, gonna pull out the fire rod as well. So it looks like we're just searching for big keys at this point. Also a sword. But we know where the swords are going to be. Or at least the pilots know where the swords are going to be, and they've relayed those words to our runners. Easy Cold Stare for Clifford. He is done. And he will pick up another crystal. That is his 3rd crystal at the 40-minute mark to go along with Desert Palace and Skull Woods. Lumaga going after his 2nd crystal at this point. This 2nd crystal will be the Palace of Darkness. Clifford about to flute away. So we know Clifford needs to get the Turtle Rock Big Key out of the Palace of Darkness. As Lumaga faces off against the Helmasar King, gets the mask taken off, we'll pull out the bow. Trying to hit him with the bow a few times. Getting bodied a few times, getting hit with the fireballs, but thankfully with the red mail and the amount of hearts he has can totally tank this at this point. Gonna have to watch out for his arrows. He is down to 3. Clifford going back into the Palace of Darkness. As I mentioned before, unless he decides that... Oh, there's the big key to Ganon's Tower. That answers that. So there's Clifford. Pushing the statue, heading on over, and he will get the Turtle Rock Big Key in a few moments. But the question now is, where is the Thieves Town Big Key? That is the only thing that we're missing so far. However, earlier we did pull out the Swamp Palace Small Key, and that is a pendant dungeon. Is there something that we need in Swamp Palace? Lumaga heading back to the Dark World. Is this a Skull Woods play? Yes, this is. This will allow him to complete this dungeon. And just a shout outs to our tracker doing things behind the scenes. That would be Yoinker's wife. And just as a quick note, Clifford does have the crystal out of Skull Woods. As Lumaga is about to get his bombos. Be sure to give both of our runners the follow here, and it looks like Clifford... Not sure why he chose against doing the cane strats right there. But yeah, we got Thieves Town Big Key as one of our question marks, and then the other question mark is, where are our swords? We're still on Fighter Sword. The first sword we had was over in the Meyer Shed area. Lumaga heading on over towards Mothula. Clifford now getting ready to head down to the Helmsar King. That is the wrong information. We'll try to get that up to date. Because I don't sound like Shift and I don't sound like Woat. Shout out to the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer community. Over 70 people strong in this tournament. As both of our runners getting ready to face off against the boss, Lumaga. Clifford being told here, thanks to our very, very keen eyes, made a mistake that I once made inside of an SRL race and never talked to the breadsmith after he dropped him off. He went back to grab the purple chest and never said hello to the breadsmith to pick up the cane of Samaria. As he found out when he got to there, it's better to find out there than to find out when you're in Turtle Rock. For certain. Trying to be a little careful now. Remember, Clifford used his red potion earlier in the fight against Mothula. Trying to use the hammer strats. Going to switch on over to the bow. Trying to keep himself from getting trampled. There it is. As Lumaga finishes off with his third dungeon complete. As Clifford picks up the big key to Ganon's Tower. Alright, Lumaga now getting ready, and I'm going to assume for Lumaga this is going to be a combo desert / Misery Mire play. He'll flute to 6, take care of desert, and Clifford is going to have to go back and flute to 3, but first he needs to pick up a Turtle Rock small key out of the big key chest. That will be his third. That will give him everything he needs to at least get to that point. So, where does everyone think that this Thieves Town Big Key is going to be? Is it in Misery Mire? Is it in Turtle Rock? Is it in Swamp Palace? Or is it somewhere that we haven't seen yet? Well, we haven't seen Swamp Palace yet, but, I mean, we are talking like an overworld location we haven't seen. We haven't seen anything about Castle Tower just yet. We don't have a magic cape to even get up there, nor do we have a Master Sword. So Clifford's going to pick up this Turtle Rock Turtle Rock small key. That'll give him his third. No reason to complete this Eastern Palace at this point. Thieves Town Big Key could very well be at the Pyramid Ferry at this point. As Lumaga gets ready to even out this crystal count, though. And Lumaga may actually have the lead going into Misery Mire. As Clifford still has to go pull out that red cane out of the breadsmith. Although Lumaga's having a really, really rough time with the Lamo fight, it's going to be a multiple cycle fight here for Lumaga. Finally gets him taken down. Ice Rod was on Mothula. Lumaga does have that Ice Rod as he picks up the crystal out of Desert Palace. So, buckle up as these routes now are merged together. Lumaga has a very, very narrow lead as Clifford gets ready to flute over to 6. Oh no, Lumaga is fluting away. Okay. So there appears to be... Okay, Lumaga's going into the Dark World. This route is not getting merged together. These two are just definitely wanting to stick on different routes at this point. As Lumaga gets ready to head into Misery Mire with the Bombos, Clifford is heading towards Turtle Rock. Both of these are completable dungeons at this point. Get confirmation in just a second whether or not Clifford has the big key. Yes, he does have the big key to Turtle Rock for his inventory. So Lumaga inside of Misery Mire, getting ready to see what he does inside of the first lobby here. Looks like he maybe thought he... I don't know if he thought he had the fire rod out or not once he went up against the Wizrobe there, but ended up accidentally doing a hook shot to him, and that did not work. So the interesting part is, why is Clifford prioritizing Turtle Rock first? I think we'll find out real soon. Lumaga getting a small key. We had not seen a mire small, so looks like there's more inside of this Misery Mire. Based on the way that Lumaga is routing this, there's nothing on the right-hand side of Turtle Rock based on how Clifford is routing this early part of this run. Keep an eye on Lumaga's arrow count. It sits at 3. So he won't even have that for an option when he goes up against Vitreous at this stage. There's a sword upgrade in the Compass Room in Misery Mire. That's the first sword upgrade we've seen. So 2 swords are in the Mire area. 1 in Mire Shed, 1 in the Mire Compass. Powder's an anti-fairy for the safety. And Clifford also has that safety available to him as he gets ready to steal a key. Looking over, making sure that he's got what he needs. He's going to get some fairies at this point. He did bottle up a fairy outside of the dungeon, so he does have a fairy now available to him to stay safe. Now Clifford stays away from the door, doesn't make a mistake accidentally opening that up, because I don't know where the other Turtle Rock key is going to be, but that is going to be a really annoying thing to have to figure out in an emergency situation. Clifford pulling out the fire rod that will help out against these pokies. Gets a couple of hearts, and it looks like there's nothing inside of Misery, or rather Mimic Cave, or in the big chest. Week number 6. Spoiler along with the co-pilot key Sanity. Next week is a co-op all dungeons. Gonna be a fun final week of the regular season. As Lumaga gets ready to head on over to Vitreous, this is going to be a tough fight without any invincibility safeties here. Does have the red potion, so he's going to have to keep an eye on his health and know when to get out. Let's keep an eye on Lumaga, as I briefly will take an eye on Clifford when he gets to Laser Bridge. Trying to use the goo like you would in the NMG strats to try to get himself some extra damage on the eyes. Trying to stay away from the eyes. That's the most important thing, because the eyes do the most amount of damage. Now, bear in mind, he does have the red potion. He's going to go ahead and swallow it right now. Better dead than, or rather, better safe than sorry. Clifford doing safety door. There's nothing on Laser Bridge. So the decision for Clifford to come here, there was nothing inside of this Turtle Rock unless there's something on Trinex. Nice job for Lumaga. He does not have the ability to do the 8 wood arrows to the eyeball. Clifford, once again, having to be careful. Lumaga's going to have to be careful, too. Down to 2 hearts. Missed a couple of swings here. Over here to the bottom. Get to see Clifford do the hammer strats here on the Trinex. 5 hammer hits once you get the heads frozen. So in theory, 2 per cycle. Gets a little bit of ice on the floor, so he'll have to watch out for that. Lumaga trying to just be extremely careful. 3 arrows left. That's it. He's done. Good use of his resources to finish off of the fight. Gets a small key to Thieves Town. And we'll pick up the crystal. Clifford. Oh, he's going to have to be careful. He does have a fairy in a bottle. Very nice, safe fight there for Lumaga to get his crystal. Clifford almost done with this Turtle Rock. Going to the hammer strats. Trying to stay away from Trinex as much as he possibly can. Would love to keep the fairy in play as much as possible. All things... Oh, he gets hit. There goes that fairy. And Lumaga is going to go and purchase the arrows right now. He's going to go and get this arrow upgrade. This is wise thinking from Lumaga, knowing what happened to his team last night. Does not want to run out of arrows for the last part of this ride. Silver arrows on Trinex! Okay! That's why Clifford wanted to do Trinex first. Lumaga heading up to the mountain. So there is going to be something on Pyramid Ferry based on how this route is going. Clifford now fluting. Is he fluting to 4? Yes, he's fluting to 4. So this is a Pyramid Ferry. This is probably where our Thieves Town Big is. Then Clifford will get the Master Sword out of the compass chest. He will have a much easier fight against Vitreous, but Lumaga should have an easier go at it with regards to Trinex, especially on that final stage. This could be a race that comes down to the wire. And with virtue of what ended up happening earlier tonight, if Team We're Bad at Team Names wins this match, that will clinch him a playoff spot. And so Lumaga going through here, and all he wants to do is get to Trinex. There's nothing else here from Clifford avoiding everything else. So we should see the Thieves Town Big Key here at Pyramid Ferry. That will get Clifford into, well, you're always in no mode in this kind of week. There's our big key to Thieves Town. There's a small key to Ganon's Tower. So let's have some fun, friends. Where are the other swords? We know where 2 of them are. The first one was in Meyer's shed. The second one was in the Meyer compass room. Clifford fluting to 6. Lumaga getting ready to go against the Pokey. Has no concerns whatsoever about accidentally opening up that door. Trying to be careful. The Myrtledactyl is Clifford. Oh my goodness. Just based on how this race could be coming to an end, this could be another close and tight affair here on Speed Gaming 5. Clifford switching on over to the hook shot. See if he chooses to switch on over to the fire rod in just a moment here to finish off this room. Barely missing that whiz robe on that cycle. Didn't get pushed out of the way by the Beamos long enough to lose the cycle there. Getting a fairy. I think Clifford probably would have preferred that fairy to go into a bottle, but I'm sure he will have a plan to get a fairy into a bottle for a safety real soon. Has to get a key over here on the right-hand side first. Lumaga for grouchy old men heading to Trinex just around the corner. He still has to bring that pyramid, that bomb to the pyramid to claim his Thieves Town big key. This is going to be a very, very tight finish, though. Stay tuned. And don't forget, this week, with the way that this week is regarding spoilers and whatnot, both runners are able to see what each other are up to. Clifford knows what Lumaga is up to if he has the stream pulled up. Zinek definitely knows what Lumaga is up to. He's got our stream pulled up. Hi, Zinek. And I'm sure Xylo is here as well. I saw Vert's here cheering on his team, hoping to get the 10th point of this week. There's the fairy in the bottle for Clifford. Oh, now is not the time to accidentally pull a mirror out. Okay, Lumaga, gonna have to be careful. Pulls out his blue potion. May have to go pull out a safety a little bit later on. Gonna have to be a little careful. Unfortunately, Trinex has got that floor messed up pretty badly. Just gotta take it nice and smooth. He did against Vitreous. That was a really good Vitreous fight. Even with red mail, Vitreous can be a big pain. Stage 1 done for Lumaga. Now on to stage number 2. Trying to be careful, because I think Trinex at this stage does 2 hearts damage if he gets hit. So he's trying to stay away from him as much as possible. There it is. Trinex is down for Lumaga as Clifford is about ready to go pick up the silver arrow. So Team We're Bad may have a narrow lead heading to Thieves Town. Clifford with that sword pickup, just under an hour, is now in go mode. Couple more silver arrows to get him out of stage 1. As long as those arrows connect. Now 2 more to Vitreous, and that fight will be done and over with. And there is a small key to Thieves Town for Clifford. So now the interesting question. What do we have in Thieves Town? It is a sword there. Clifford going to pull out his mirror and flute to 3 as Lumaga gets ready to spend 100 rupees on a big red bomb. Lumaga will get a Ganon's Tower small key coming up inside of the Pyramid Fairy. Guess the real big question at this stage is whether or not there is something downstairs that's worthwhile grabbing. And maybe you would spend a few extra seconds to get Tempered Sword. As Clifford now makes his way into Thieves Town. Be sure to give these runners a big follow. Clifford, representing Team Bad with his pilot, _Sinek. Sinak doing a whole bunch of things, and I don't know why the runner command is still bad. I tried to reset it. I'll have to yell at Fiesel in just a moment. Looks like Lumaga's getting the free blue potion fill up here, so does not need to worry about buying some potions. Lumaga making sure he doesn't mirror bonk. And now we'll make his way over to Thieves Town as well. So what a very, very close race. This is still not done and over with. Clifford's got about a half of a dungeon advantage over Lumaga at this point. But anything can and will happen. Clifford going downstairs. Taking a look at the inventory count for both of the runners. Both of the runners have a very solid inventory. Clifford does have a fairy in a bottle, and Lumaga has the 2 blue potions that he did fill up. Magic Cape, a nice safety to have, especially if you're getting ready to do a Master Sword Ganon. Nothing inside of the big chest. So, Lumaga trying to do the God Pixel, unfortunately didn't get it. Got a little bit of interference on his attempt. Oh, that did not open up, unfortunately, the switch, so Lumaga has to backtrack. That's not a big deal. Just more annoying than anything else when you know your opponent is ahead. Clifford trying to take care of the second stage of the blind fight. So that Magic Cape was behind Pyramid Fairy, and Clifford gets the fight done with Blind, and Blind will drop a small key to the Tower of Hera, but we don't have any reason to go down to the Tower of Hera as Clifford picks up his 7th and final crystal. He's about ready to go visit Ganon's Tower. As Lumaga now about to make his way to the back half of this Thieves Town. Clifford will be making his way up to the tower, and now we'll find out whether or not he's going to pick up any of the safeties on the way up. Is there a sword on the way up? We don't know. Is there anything of beneficial use for him? Are the dead rocks going to play nice? Well, we already know the answer to that is no, because that's exactly how this game works. Clifford already down 4.5 hearts on his way in. Probably will bonk into the rocks in order to get the fairy on his way up to the tower. As Lumaga gets his way into the blind fight, Blind giving us the dry humor that is best known for Blind. And Clifford indeed bonking into the rocks to get that fairy. And so Clifford now heading into the fight. The big difference is Clifford will be running on blue mail, whereas Lumaga will be on red mail. But Clifford's spouting maybe about a 2-minute difference at this stage. Clifford around the Lionels. As Lumaga finishes off with the blind fight, heads up to the Ganon's Tower. 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 20 seconds here for Clifford. 1 hour, 720 for Clifford. And he is going to the right-hand side. Clifford knows something's up over here. As Lumaga gets deadlocked, heading for the portal. And Clifford pulls out the cape. He's doing tile room. Is there a sword in tile room? That's the only thing that I think could actually be worth this time investment. As Lumaga gets his way up to the tower. There's nothing else that could be here. Could we be getting our tempered sword here as Lumaga drops his way down and is making his way towards the tower? Clifford still with the lead that outlasts the trip up here. And yes, that is the tempered sword. As Lumaga goes into the Lionel. And I will tell you, as Clifford gets ready to head up to the next floor, there was one other sword available in this pool, and its location was god-awful. And if you want to know what it is, well, first Lumaga's going to go down here and get this key here so he doesn't have to worry about anything else. Clifford picking up the arrows. Oh, there's a heart on the torch as well. But does Lumaga go get that tempered sword at this point? Yes, he is. He knows that Clifford has this sword. A very justified decision at this point. So Clifford coming over here. As we have ourselves over into the gauntlet as Lumaga about to pick up his tempered sword as well. As Clifford makes his way into the next to last room of the gauntlet, gonna have to still be careful. Now, once again, we do have the magic powder. And I think Clifford's gonna go ahead and use that right now, as Lumaga gets the mimics all set and ready to go. So, as Clifford gets ready to face off against the Lamel fight number 2. I will tell you after he's done with this fight where that other sword was located. As Lumaga gets ready to head up the stairs, or rather head over here to this last portion of the 3rd floor. It's going to be a 3-cycle Lamel 2 for Clifford. If you wanted the other sword in this game, it was in the Tower of Hera big chest. So you may be asking, how are they supposed to get to the Tower of Hera big chest? Well, you see, you would have to pick it up out of Swamp Palace. In fact, in the waterfall room. So there was no way these runners were going to pick that up. The tile room was a whole lot faster to get that tempered sword. As Lumaga continues to this gauntlet, room number 3 is complete. Room number 4 heading on through. Gonna still have to be careful. Remember, he does not have a fairy in a bottle, so if he ends up taking a death, it's back to the start. He would want to make sure that he consumes that blue potion if he's low on his life. Oh, that... Oh, I did not realize that that could actually get stuck there. Oh. So Lumaga ends up using his potion because he had to. At that point, he was down to a half of a heart. Clifford making his way through the 6th floor. And if Clifford doesn't open up this last chest after Moldorm 2, I will tell you what's inside of that chest. As Clifford wants that fairy. Didn't have the switch in the right position. Clifford going up against the Moldorm 2. Has the sword out and ready to spin. There's the first hit. There's the second hit. And Clifford has finished him off. As Lumaga finishes off the first of the Wizrobe rooms. Clifford opens it up and shows us that it is the lone silver arrow. Now we can beat this seed. Lumaga having a real tough time in Wizrobe 2. This is going to be a 3 cycle. Clifford coming in here for the Aga 3, or the Aga 2 fight, not the Aga 3 fight. It's a 3-part Aga fight. One of them is the real, and the 2 are the fakes. Gets the 2 hits on him. Gets 1 hit on him. There was a blue ball. So we're at 3 altogether. Missed the swing there, so that's a 0. Still on 3. That's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 6, that's a triple to end things. A 4 cycle, Aga 2 for Clifford. He is heading to Ganon now. Lumaga with 2 keys to his possession, heading through the 6th floor. He is not that far behind. Anything can happen here. Clifford is not in the clear just yet. Clifford coming into the fight against Ganon. Being told about a duck, a sheep, in regards to a hot air balloon. Trying to get a double off the trident spin. Gets him into stage, or still in stage 1. So that was a 2-cycle stage 1. Surprised Clifford didn't go into the corner. Now he does. There we go. Gets a couple of spins here. 1, 2, 3 double spins. That's the 6 he needs. Pulls out the cape to keep himself safe because he doesn't want to take a death at this stage with 4.5 hearts remaining. He does have a fairy in a bottle, but you don't really want to use that if you don't need to when you know your opponent is right behind you. Your Lumaga going up against the Aga 2 fight as well. Clifford over here to the bottom left corner. Gets the second hit onto Ganon in stage 3. Clifford over to the top left corner. That's the 3rd portion of this floor. And now the 4th and final. With the silvers, Clifford now gets ready. We'll get a single here. Pulls out the fire rod. Does not get the torch glitch. Not a big concern here. There's a 1 and a 2. And Clifford down to the bottom left corner. And that's the 4th and final. And Lumaga has finished off with the Aga 2 fight. But Clifford will give Team We're Bad at Team Names the 2-0 sweep over Grouchy Old Men. Giving them their 9th win. And clinching them a playoff spot. As Lumaga drops on down the hole, it's time to see how he does with the Ganon fight as well. We'll get Clifford and Sinek in here in just a moment, but we want to make sure that we give Lumaga his time in the sun here with his Ganon fight. Into the corner here for stage number 3. Pulls out the cape to make sure that this is the final portion of the stage 2. Gets a few of the sword swings in here, hugs the wall to make sure he doesn't drain any more of his magic cape. Over to the top left corner, over to the bottom left corner for the first of the Ganon warps. Getting the first stage of the floor down. Lumaga pulls out the fire rod. You could pull out these silver arrows and get a hit on Ganon before the floor completely comes undone. Looks like he's choosing to go with making sure that the fire stays on. There's the fourth and the final. Gets some fire bats to have to contend with. And barely. Oh, he does get hit. Oh, do not get hit with another one. Do not get hit with another one. There we go. We pulled out the blue potion. Does get the torch glitch here. Can he get a triple? That's 1, 2, and attempt for the triple. He was just a little too late for that, but gets the third, gets the fourth hit just in time before the torch comes out. Lumaga finishes. GG. Clifford, first place, 1:16:21. Lumaga about to walk on through the door. And he will finish with an official SRL time of 1:18:28. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the second team from the Lost Woods division to clinch their spot in the playoffs. Team. We're bad at team names. Clifford and Sinak.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Rick.
Hello. So,
Do you know how many times this tournament I've triple dipped Eastern Palace?
I know, right?
Like,
So-
that should be our team name. Clifford will triple dip Eastern Palace.
Or you'll octagonal, whatever the terminology for like 10 trips in the Desert Palace is going to be.
or I'll drop off the Smith and forget to get the gain.
Yeah.
off the
So
Smith.
a little bit of a spoiler, and I'll give people a chance to mute if they wanted to watch it back on a multi-stream in just a moment here. But a little bit of a spoiler coming up here. Team Missing Links Tide will pull Ped for food earlier.
Really?
And by virtue of that, clinches us a playoff spot.
Wow.
Love to see ties. Ties are fun.
At least I believe so. I mean, numbers are tough.
Numbers are hard. Math
Yeah,
is...
We'll let the officials punch that out. Once they get the X next to our name, we'll figure it out. But how about that sword logic?
Hey, that was...
That was fun.
The other sword was in Tower of Hera Big Chest, I think,
Yeah,
with
what
the
you
big key
needed
and
to get-
Swamp.
Yeah, you needed to get the big key out of the waterfall room in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that was never happening.
So as you were going up to the tower, I did peek a look at the spoiler log, and that was the first time I looked in this entire seed at the old spoiler, because I wanted to see if you may have plotted about making a detour to get a sword somewhere, because you guys obviously know where the swords are.
Mhm.
But then I saw tile room, and my thought was, does Clifford go for that? And is this a case where you went for it because you had the lead? Or is this a case that you're going to do this no matter what?
I figured it'd save more time to get it on the Ganon fight alone than to not get it. And also being ahead, I figured, okay, if I get it, then if they skip the Tempered Sword to try and catch up, then that just makes everything else take longer. And so it was a combination, I guess.
Okay, so we do have Lumaga and Xylo in here. GG's to you both.
GG, y'all.
GG Clifford.
That was
So I do want to turn to you guys, because that's the next ultimate question is, with you guys with an eye on the restream, you saw Clifford pull, that force your hands in regarding the wanting to get the Tempered Sword out of the basement.
It didn't force my hand, but it made me really think about the decision and think about how much time each kind of fight would take. And ultimately, I decided that it would have taken a lot less time to get to the sword than to fight as.
Yeah.
So a little bit.
Zylo was telling me it's probably a good idea to go get that sword.
So a little bit of yes, a little bit of once after things got figured out.
I mean,
So
Clifford's a really good player, and seeing that he was doing it made me really have some missing thought. We
mhm.
were gonna.
So as a race itself, this was a really weird race because for the longest time it was just a question mark of where these two routes were going to merge together, and there never really seemed like there was a place where you two wanted to merge, and then all of a sudden we get to the point where both of you are about ready to go into Mystery Mire. Oops, Clifford decides to go into Turtle Rock, and then we're wondering why that was going to be the case until Trinex drops the silvers.
I'm much more confident in low percent Trinex than I am low percent Vitreous. So I wanted to go do that. I can deal with take the safety door, fighter sword Trinex, hit it with the hammer a bunch, then go to Mire with the silvers and fight Vidi with the silvers and be real happy about that, as opposed to the opposite situation where even getting the Master Sword in Mire doesn't make the Trinex fight that much better.
I'm actually the opposite. Zylo was telling me that there's a sword in Mire and Trinex has silvers. I figured I would have a chance against Vitreous than I did even with like Master Sword Trinex, and you saw I did have a little bit of trouble with him trying the hammer strats, and I thankfully had a blue potion to save me.
Yeah.
But both of those fights were not fun.
Yeah, and even that second half of that Trinex fight was very, very scary for you. We're hoping that he decided that he wasn't going to give you another hug, because obviously at that point, that would have been a real bad ending for you guys.
Yeah, I died on Trinex but I had a fairy to just in case, so that saved me.
Yeah, so we were really close. I'm glad to see like we're very competitive, our two teams. What was the big difference maker? Was it really the Vitreous?
It was triple dipping Eastern. Yeah, well, I completely screwed up Eastern Palace. Like, because like Clifford only went in there for what was it?
The heart and the hook shot first time, and then I went back and got the flute, and then he's like, "Oh, you also need a small key to Turtle Rock that's in the Eastern also."
This is the kind of race where it's kind of hard to figure out where the difference was, because of the fact that the routes were so different between you two until you both finally got to the point at the Pyramid Ferry. And at that stage, Clifford had a half of a thief's town over you, Lumaga. Like, you asked, and this is a very good legitimate question. I have a hard time actually answering you on that, and I'm just waiting for the stats to come up here, because maybe we can find out by collection rate maybe a little bit of a difference. I think your menu time was a little bit different than what Clifford was.
Yeah, there might have been a bit more hesitation on my side. There were some points that we were debating, like, hey, should I go here or there? And
also you got 9 more items.
Oh, wow, 70 collection rate. That's nice. So I got 79.
Almost very, very similar to the match last night between Verts and myself, where Verts had 80 and I had 70.
And we made sure to be conscious of our arrow count tonight, and I did try to stick it to that spike just to get vengeance.
Yeah, I didn't know that could actually get stuck to that little fire thing in the 4th floor there.
You can get stuck on all sorts of things in the game.
Yeah.
I put an arrow into Vidi's lightning. That was fun.
That happened. Did you see that? Like one of his arrows just went straight into Vidi's lightning and was nullified. It just got carried away.
I did not see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this was a very, very interesting series between in both of the matches here, and you know, it's like I said, this was like very, very tough one to try to determine what was the difference. Maybe Clifford not going downstairs in the Palace of Darkness to get that red mail. Maybe that was a little bit of the difference as well.
Yeah, I imagine that combined with we did have to go back for Fire Rod because we missed a check on. I want to say.
Oh yeah, I didn't get Link's house right away.
Oh, that was it.
And
Also,
when-
because Clifford
yeah.
started
those
at Link's
boots
house.
were right there. That was a real nice find. That's my favorite thing in the whole world to see is those boots in Link's house.
I forgot all about that. Was because Clifford was able to get the fire rod on his first trip through, whereas you had to double back. Although this seed kind of gave you plenty of reason to double back once you got the flute. You could grab the fire rod while you were activating the flute. You could get the fire rod while you're activating the flute. Yeah.
Well, I gotta
Honestly,
say, this was the week I was looking forward to the most, and I had fun in both roles, piloting yesterday and running today, and racing against this team. So
Awesome.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun tonight. That was like, I had no idea what to expect when I saw that on the schedule coming into this thing, and that's this whole thing is just for fun, right? Like, and that's what if you're not having fun, then what are we doing? And like, there's a couple of great races. GG's.
Absolutely, GG's.
yeah, GG.
Yeah, this was a really, really good series. Now, of course, one more week in this league. You guys finish off with But We're Buddies. Any thoughts about that heading into the All Dungeons co-op week?
I'm looking forward to that one. I never really raced Chelsea, Locke, or I'm actually blanking on the third member of the team. But
Fantalis.
Fantalis. I am looking forward to racing against him.
And Clifford and Sinek, you two and I get Team Kappa in a battle for the division title.
That's gonna be ridiculous next week.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and I know they've got their Team Kappas all ready to go to fight against us in that match. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really, really looking forward to that match.
You guys got to take them down a notch.
Yeah, they just been like stomping all over our division here, and it's been
Yeah, they have.
it's been really annoying.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
Even
I
the
mean, it's
text
more-
looks cocky.
I mean, it's a little more annoying with the fact that they stomp over the division and put their Team Kappas all over the place. But with that being said, a definite GG's to both of you. A great race, and this one was one that wasn't over until we got to Ganon. So great job, all of you.
Thanks.
I can't wait to watch this one back.
Yeah, let's. I can't either. It'll be fun.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for today here for A Link to the Past Randomizer League. We do like to shout out Yoinker's wife, who is doing the buttons in the background for us. Also for Clifford and his pilot, the Sinak, and for Lumaga and his pilot, Xylo. I'm Adirondack Rick saying thank you very much for joining us. Hope you guys all had yourselves a fantastic day, and we will see you again for more great Link to the Past Randomizer League stuff coming up here. There is one other match that is currently in progress. It's over on the ALTTPR League. It is between Varanth and Willard J. Bradley, and Crazy Sunshine and Brewers fan JP are on the call for that. So thank you very much for everyone for joining us. Have yourselves a good night. Bye-bye, everyone.